Hey, what's up guys? I'm coming back with another video. I've been trying to post these more often. I think I'm gonna try to get down to like a once a week cadence, and also just changing up the background. I'm shooting in my living room this time, which was in my last video. So it's the view from the back of my, from my living room, and sort of giving you the 360 tour. So thanks for tuning in. In this video, I'm gonna talk and make an updated version of how I spend my software engineering salary. So give you a little bit of an intro and get started from there. So this video is like way overdue for a refresher. About a year ago or 2 years ago, I posted a video about how I spent my $190,000 a year software engineering salary as a software engineer in New York. In this video, I'm going to update that and talk about my new salary and how I spend it. So this video is how I spend my $300,000 a year software engineering salary in New York City. So if you haven't done so already, go ahead and smash that like button, hit subscribe, and hit the bell. It really helps the algorithm and it boosts my video to more people that might want to see it. If you're new to my channel, I'm a software engineer in New York. I work at Google and I make videos about tech, finance, personal finance, living in New York City, and the such. Hope you like it here. Check out some of my other videos that you might like. And without further ado, let's get started. So in this video, I'm gonna cover 4 parts. First, I'm gonna start with my salary breakdown, followed by my investments, lastly, my budget, and finally, I'm gonna have a section about bonus and equity, because this is something very unique to big tech jobs and also tech in general. Since most of my viewers are in the tech industry, I feel like it would be kind of missing something if I don't include it. So I'm gonna start with salary breakdown. My salary is $300,000 a year, which is broken up between base, target bonus, and equity. My base is about $185,000 per year, and this does not cover any overtime that I might have to do for my job. This is a straight, they pay me for 40 hours of work a week. If I go over, that's out of my own pocket, and it's going to bring down my hourly rate. So my hourly rate is $89 an hour. Usually I work between 40 to 45 hours a week, and if I go on call, I earn a bonus. This is something that's unique to Google. I get paid about 66%, or maybe I think a little less than that. I get paid basically about an extra 10K a year for on-call time, and that goes on top of my $300,000 salary, and it acts as a bonus for working extra hours. In addition to my base, I make about 15% as a target bonus, which is for hitting my expectations for the year, and altogether that comes out to about $27,000 on top of my existing salary. In addition to that, I have a one-time signing bonus of $50,000, and also a one-time 4-year grant of $284,000 in equity that vests over 4 years. So Google does a front-loaded vesting schedule, which is vests at 33%, 33%, 22%, and 11%, meaning I get $93,000 of my equity bonus my first year. So all in all, my salary comes out to $355,000 my first year, and it averages down to $296,000 for every year after that. And with that, I save about 68% of my income, and I spend about 30% on essentials and 2.5% on things that I might want. So investments. So before my paycheck even hits my bank account, I take about 20.5K to max out my 401k. This helps me plan for my retirement and grow wealth over time. Since my tax rate is already 32% about with New York state tax, I opt to choose a traditional 401k instead of a Roth 401k. I'm hoping that my tax rate actually goes down since I'll be hopefully retired early by the time I retire, and I like to take the tax reduction now to make it easier to pay for my living expenses. After maxing out my 401k, I take an extra 5.8K to fund my after-tax Roth IRA. This program is a retirement program meant for high earners that lets you save an extra 38.5K for retirement. I put in about 5.8K, so I don't really max it, but it's a good option later on as I start making more money in my current job. In addition, I also take an extra 2.6K to fund my HSA, which is this medical, which is a medical account used to that you can use to expense your medical expenses, and it also doubles as an individual investment account. So this is basically an extra IRA account that you can use for retirement if you don't end up using it for medical expenses. After that, I take about 1K out for my WageWorks commuter benefits and also pre-tax dental and vision. All in all, I save about 30K towards retirement every year in all of my accounts. And after taking out retirement savings, I have about 60K taken out by taxes every year by the federal government and the New York state government. And then in addition to that, after I have my income taxed, and I end up with about 7K post-tax in my bank account every month. With the 7K, I save about $400 in savings, and 1.1K I put towards investment accounts like my Fidelity. And that leaves me with about 5.5K to use as my living expenses per month. Now on to budgeting. So my rent overall is my biggest expense, and it takes up about 2.5K per month. And after rent, restaurants are my second biggest expense. I pay about 1.4K every month on restaurants, coffee, and other various food-related items. I'm very blessed to work at Google because it provides me with free food, and my rent was much higher before I started working here. I often wouldn't have to pay for groceries, but I do pay to eat out whenever I go out with friends, or sometimes if I feel lazy on the weekends. After restaurants, my biggest expense is in order utilities, entertainment, and rideshare, in addition to shopping and public transportation. Overall, I budget around 1K for those extra things that I don't really need to live. But overall, I spend most of the amount that I budgeted for my living expenses. And on top of that, with whatever money I end up saving, I use that to put into my savings account, or also buy US Treasury bonds, which I use to hold over time to also build my wealth. So bonus and equity. This is a pretty unique section for big tech workers and also tech workers in general. This is an additional compensation structure that is used on top of cash compensation, and it's when the company pays you in stocks and bonuses. Bonuses are common in other industries like finance and consulting, but equity payments are very unique to tech or high-level C-suite executives. So usually compensation in the form of stocks is either in a grant or an option. In the case of Google, it is a grant, which means that they give it to you on top of your current existing compensation, and is treated as very similar to cash. The other form is called options, which is mostly used for startups. I'll make another video covering stock options because I have experience working in the startup and can talk more about how the option works. But usually, if your compensation is in the form of a grant, it'll be given to you on a certain vesting date. The typical vesting is yearly or semi-annually, which is every 6 months. Some companies do 6 months, and some companies, if your grant is large enough, will do it every month. And these are the most common different vesting schedules. So I get my vest every month, and this gets taxed at about 45%. Usually, I treat this money as a bonus and I don't touch it. I put it immediately into my savings account and then I let it grow. I forget about it. Another common way of handling this kind of compensation is to sell it immediately and move it into something more stable like SPY. Whatever works for you. Typically, I just leave it because if the US economy grows, then my share in it will also grow. So in this section, I'm going to cover tips and tricks that I've learned since my last budgeting video. If you've been following me this long, you've clearly seen I've gotten way better. And I'm going to give some advice for post-grads and other people that might be trying to grow their wealth over time. I think the first big tool is to track your investing and growth using tools like Mint or Personal Capital. This is probably the biggest tip I can give. It is to make sure all your finances are in one place. Mint and Personal Capital make this extremely easy to do, and instead of having 4 or 5 accounts that are separate, it creates one central dashboard. This makes it easy to track your expenses and make sure you're hitting your budgets every month. It also automatically labels whatever charges exist, so you can categorize them really easily and analyze your spending. This is very nice, especially like Mint, which lets you export to a spreadsheet. I have a few custom spreadsheets that I created myself to forecast and track my own spending. This all are great ways of making sure that you're hitting your goals every month. Another big tip I have is to focus on the bigger things. So I think that focusing on the bigger things like rent and car payments are much more worthwhile than focusing on the smaller things. You're gonna make a bigger dent in your savings goals by cutting $500 on rent instead of saving $5 every day spending for coffee. Over a course of a month, saving $5 a day would only save you $150, whereas saving $500 from rent is going to save you basically 3 months worth of coffee. So focus on the bigger things and make sure you can cut those down instead of nitpicking on the smaller savings. You're gonna save so much more money by taking a little bit more time and cutting down your car payment instead of finding a $5 cheaper deal and cut your costs by like $5. Just make sure you go after the big wins instead of penny pitching. I think my next one that was a big tip for me was have a goal. My goal is to save money for a mortgage and buy a house, so that keeps me aligned every month and makes sure that I'm working towards what I want. If I didn't have a goal, it would be easy to sort of forget and then spend hundreds of dollars on dinner, whereas by having that mortgage just in my head, I keep that guides my everyday decisions and make sure that I'm saving money even when I'm not thinking about it. My last point is probably 2 points. I recommend watching your eating out budget and also taking money out before it even hits your bank account. So eating out is one of those expenses that just adds up really quickly over time, and nobody really knows that how much they're spending on eating out. I recommend going back to tip number 1 and getting a tracker like Mint or Personal Capital and then analyzing how much you're spending on eating out. If you live in a major city, it might be more than you expect. And lastly, take money out of your bank account before it even hits. Psychologically, this makes it a lot easier to save because you won't have the temptation to spend it, and it's as simple as that. So that's it. If you really enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like and subscribe. I make more videos about finance, tech, and personal budgeting. Also videos about New York. You can check out my videos on my channel and hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed this and you want to see more. Make sure you leave a comment about what your favorite tip was. If you learned anything from this video, it gives me feedback and make sure it motivates me to keep making videos. But yeah, thanks again for spending this time with me, and peace out, guys.